1 year ago this week, Walmart was selling bottled water from drought-ridden California. We told you that CBS 13 noticed that Walmart draws bottled water from a Sacramento water district, and this was during California's drought. And according to the label, the water came from the Sacramento Municipal Water Supply. This is when Starbucks was opting to move sourcing and production of its Ethos bottled water from California to Pennsylvania. In the same week, we reported to you that Nestle was trying to buy an Oregon public water supply. Since, Lewis, we've had Flint and the disaster there. We've had flammable, licorice-smelling water in West Virginia and in other places. We've had water shortages in Texas. We've had increased problems with water access. The water problem, as we've covered before and we'll cover again, and we've done interviews, including two with David Zetland, a water economist, this is really a big problem. 783 million people don't have access to clean water, and 2.5 billion don't have access to adequate sanitation on our planet.
Yeah, it's bad. It's in this country, it's incredible how many stories of contaminated water go underreported.
Right.
So it's one of those things. We have to catch up a lot here, and it's just not making headlines. Unfortunately, Donald Trump posing as his own publicist is a bit of a distraction. But hey, like Donald Trump said, we need to fix infrastructure, right?
6 to 8 million people die annually from the consequences of disasters and water-related diseases. 6 to 8 million. That's the population of entire U.S. states. I mean, many times the population of some of those smaller U.S. states. And it's infrastructure, as you mentioned, Lewis, but it's also resource allocation, right? It's similar to hunger. We know there's no reason for anyone on the planet to be hungry, but there are a couple of problems. Lack of political will to actually really tackle the problem. There are also infrastructure issues in terms of less connected areas, et cetera. But you can still treat water locally. I mean, there's so much that can be done beyond just, quote, infrastructure here if we had the political will, which clearly we don't.
Yeah, the allocation is a big part of it. And then there's also the lack of regulation and oversight, which that's what happened in Flint, right?
I feel like finally this is starting to hit home in the U.S. If you're in a part of the country that isn't right now affected by a water shortage or a water crisis, you might still not really get it or feel like it affects you. But we have many people in the U.S. now, the Texas towns that are constantly on the verge of having no water left in their supply, parts of California. We've had so many of these instances where here in the U.S., people are confronted with water problems. And to some degree, it will probably take that to really get action here, won't it?
Yeah. This is not a country where things like Flint should be happening.
No.
There's no reason for it at all.
There's about as much reason for that as there is for anybody to go hungry on our planet, which is only the fact that we haven't decided to fix it. That's the only real reason. Everything else can be fixed by throwing some money at it. And to be quite honest, not even that much in the grand scheme of things. We'll take a break. After the break, we will revisit my classic interview with Richard Clarke, the guy known for that infamous memo before 9/11, Bin Laden poised to strike, to the Bush administration. That is next. Get the free 32 gigabyte David Pakman Show USB flash drive with your membership at davidpakman.com/flash drive. That ends in just a few days. Gamefly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.